Hi, I'm Alex Myerz, and I'm here with Jenn Embro.
Hi.
And today we're going to be looking at and rating the movies coming out in April.
Here we go.
5,
Say what?
4,
Nuh-uh.
3,
Go ahead.
2,
Where's my lipstick?
1.
That's what I thought you said. One blast. Oh, Gayz in space!
So before we start, I'm going to say no spoiler warning because we have not seen this movie. And actually, we're recording this a little bit ahead of time. So everything here is just plain old speculation based on the film description and the trailer.
Yeah, here we go for our predictive movie.
Yeah, we're rating the synopsises. Let's start off with the film Your Name. It's about a day when stars fell to Earth, and two high school students, Mitsusha and Taki, this is an anime film, they switch bodies, and they apparently fall in love and start leaving each other notes somehow. I'm a little vague on the details, to be honest.
It sounds very anime.
Yeah, exactly. My note on the description is, anime is weird.
Oh, well, mine sounds like an anime version of Freaky Friday.
That's funny because I said it's body switch film plus sex change.
So, yeah, essentially.
But I've also heard about this movie. It's one of the films I'm actually really excited to see. I heard it's one of the most popular films in Japan right now.
I had never heard of it at all, but after seeing the trailer, I had some thoughts, which we'll get to.
First of all, the animation was beautiful.
I completely agree with you.
It was interesting seeing them. It was done a lot more subtle than I thought it would be. I was imagining literally they went to bed or they saw a shooting star and next minute he's a boy and she's a girl.
Yeah, I did enjoy that they seemed confused about the fact that they were switching bodies. It wasn't immediately apparent to them. They seemed to think it was dreams they were having.
Yeah. I wonder what it would be like to switch bodies with a woman. I don't know if my first inclination would be to date that person you switch bodies with.
Yeah, especially when you think of the grittier details. I'm sure it's a Hollywood film and it's polished and it's only fun things they get to experience, but getting your period suddenly as a woman would not be fun.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you like to switch bodies on that day?
I would love to switch bodies on that day.
Yeah, and I don't think if I knew it wasn't actually a person, but if I was having a dream and I was someone else, this is bad, but I feel like one of my first inclinations would be to abuse the body. Not in a painful way, but to go partying and do things that you wouldn't do in real life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know if it would have been my first inclination, but yeah, why not?
No, my first inclination would have been, what's going on? Am I on drugs? Have I been hit in the head by something? Mm-hmm. That would be my first inclination, but my second or third inclination would be
let's have fun.
Yeah. I'm going to be posting on Craigslist, I guess. I don't know what straight women would do if they were looking for a man.
I think it's just called walking out into the world.
Yeah, that's true.
That's still just on a superficial level. The movie seems it's a waiting for Netflix, maybe a popcorn flick, I guess, in the rest of the world, or with the demographic for me.
Well, in Japan, it's, I think, a blockbuster, but in North America, it's definitely not getting, major release.
No.
I would potentially see this in theaters. I think it's probably more in, a movie I'll actually very much enjoy, but I'll probably end up seeing on Netflix.
Of course. Yeah, nothing against the film, just not something I'm dying to see.
Okay, next, Fate of the Furious.
So this is one of the next in the Fast and the Furious franchise. So if you like fast cars and action films and testosterone, this film seems like it would be for you.
I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of this film franchise, mainly because I just haven't been exposed to enough of it. I've heard the more recent films get a lot better. I like The Rock. He's been doing a lot of stuff. He's gone from WWE, I guess it was WWF back in the day.
Yes, it was.
To legitimate celebrity.
He's
very
huge.
Talented.
Yeah, you know what? I think he's a good actor. Not fantastic, but he's good in the roles that he's cast in. And I'm sure he'll add to the Fast and Furious franchise, which I don't personally think highly of, but I really don't think I'm the demographic it's geared towards either.
Me neither. Although, I mean, there is always a little bit of gay subtext in them and the bro bonding.
Oh, when you have that much machismo going on, absolutely.
Let's go on to the trailer. Did that change anything?
Not overly. It looks, I mean, I don't care for the genre as a whole. The action sequences looked really well choreographed. What really threw me off, something really threw me off about this, though, I have to say, and it was like all I could think of through most of the trailer. Charlize Theron's dreads. What the hell? What the hell did they decide to do to her hair? Why did she agree to that? I don't know why. It's terrible, and that overtook most of my thoughts.
My other thought was there's like a scene where they're like, we finally got a tank. I'm pretty sure they had a tank before. But that might be, I might be getting my major blockbuster bro films mixed up.
Yeah, the last Fast and the Furious film I watched was Fast and the Furious 3, Tokyo Drift. I'm pretty sure that was 3 at least, and I'm pretty sure it was the last one I ever watched. And it would have been at the time it was released.
From what I understand, that's like the disowned orphan of the Fast and Furious films.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I grew up, lost interest in the series franchise. But it definitely seems like they've moved away from just car trick racing. Because this is like submarines and tanks and like whole government interference. I have no idea what's actually happening in this film now.
I love the garage that has like dozens of James Bond style cars with like hidden weapons that are all like super nice, like Lamborghinis and Porsches and cars that I have no idea what the brand is, but I'm sure car lovers were like having mini orgasms over.
Oh yeah. My mom would probably love that scene. She loves cars.
It's pretty much just car porn.
Yeah.
It's super car porn.
It's basically porn a 13-year-old would dream up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gay subtext and all.
That's probably.
Anyway, next up is Colossal. This is a movie about a woman who basically she loses her job in New York City. Her boyfriend dumps her, and she has to go back home. At the same time, a giant monster appears in Seoul.
Yeah, and it's wreaking havoc on the city is the description of the movie that's given to us.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like destroying this, like pretty much Godzilla, and she has this weird connection to it.
Yeah, so for me, my initial impression reading that synopsis was okay. Like, I guess it's going to be a bizarre Japanese horror.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like a D-list, like, fun horror movie. But I definitely thought it was like a foreign film. I thought maybe it was like from Singapore or wherever.
Or Korea.
Or Korea.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere where they could say, it's not here, but it's close enough. But yeah, then we looked at the trailer.
And Anne Hathaway is the star, and it looks very American.
Yeah, definitely. I was surprised to see her.
Yeah, I went. So my initial impression was like an ellipses. Okay, my after impression was ellipses Anne Hathaway. Like, really? Okay.
So normally, like, if there's an A-lister, they'll put their name in the description. So I don't know why they're not pushing the Anne Hathaway angle.
Yeah, and Jason Sudeikis was in it too, and he gained a lot of popularity over the last few years, but he didn't seem to be mentioned either, which was kind of surprising.
Yeah, and I kind of think if they're in it, it's probably a decent script because I don't imagine them taking junk unless someone they're friends with is producing or directing it or wrote it.
I suppose must be the case, or Anne Hathaway's really trying to get out of her casting box because, I don't know, apparently it's supposed to be really funny. For me, I rated this movie a flop.
Okay, I think it's going to be one of those think PC, like, learning about relations through a monster metaphor.
I'd like to think that that's what it's reaching for, but I think it's going to fall short.
Okay, I was thinking it might be like an Oscar bait, but not even Oscar baits. Oscar bait, I think, is the term I'd use where it's trying to be like target critics.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll succeed in that.
I suspect not, but
I was going to say my true rating is waiting for Netflix. But aspiring Oscar bait.
okay, aspiring Oscar bait. I can see that, especially with the Anne Hathaway casting. I'm just nixing this one as a flop right now.
Okay, next. Smurfs, The Lost Village. We're definitely starting with the most prestigious films.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so the Smurfs, little blue people or creatures. I'm not really sure what Smurfs are still to this day. It seems like the one female Smurf is lonely, and while she's out one day, she sees something that looks like another Smurf, and that seeming Smurf drops a map to what they think might be a lost village, and an adventure ensues trying to find this lost village.
And like the end of the description is, their adventure leads them on a course to discover the biggest secret in Smurf history.
Ooh.
Which I think should be Smurfdery.
Yeah, it should be Smurfdery for sure.
But reading that, I was hoping there's like a deep, dark secret that the Smurfs are like hiding. Like they're really like genetically engineered, like killing machines, or they're the survivors after a nuclear holocaust and they were like mutated into blue asexual creatures.
I think you could write that as a fan fiction if you wanted, but yeah, my thoughts never went there for Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's where they went, but I would love if it was.
Well, my initial thoughts are, it sounds like a good kids movie.
Yeah, that's true. And then we watched the trailer, and did that change your opinion at all?
Not overly. I thought I would definitely enjoy this if I was a kid. And even maybe a little older, like tweeny, it seems like high on the meme list. It seems like it has some good dialogue that's very current.
Yeah, I think it actually looks less painful than the live action ones. Even though they have NPH in them, and I love Neil Patrick Harris, they were not good. They were not... Oh, they're painful.
I never watched them, but I believe it.
Yeah, I have, again, 5 nephews.
Of course.
Next up, Unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
It's about a woman played by Katherine Heigl who becomes increasingly unhinged after meeting her ex-husband's fiancé. So what did you think?
My initial thoughts, I don't like Katherine Heigl very much, and the movie sounds meh in general. I don't know, women becoming unhinged. Sounds like it's definitely been done before.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's kind of like, where's Katherine Heigl been for the last decade?
Where she belongs to be nowhere really on an A-list movie.
Yeah, I heard there was lots of drama with her leaving Grey's Anatomy, and she kind of burned a lot of bridges.
Yeah, I've heard the same. I also don't really care, I guess. I mean, I don't hate her. I'm just very apathetic.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't have anything unpleasant associated with her, although I hear she's not the most pleasant person to work with.
I've heard the same thing. Actually, I guess, you know what? I have a little weird thing against her because my dad thinks she's totally gorgeous and keeps insisting she's prettier than Scarlett Johansson, which bothers me because, hello, Scarlett Johansson is way more attractive. So the only thing that bothers me is my dad's insistence that Katherine Heigl is prettier. No, sorry, bye.
Anyway, did any of your opinions change after watching the trailer?
No, I hate stories of women pitted up against each other, especially over a man.
Yeah, and it was so much more of a horror movie than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it definitely, like, the, whole knife slasher, yada yada.
And I can't even describe I don't think I am going to describe the whole trailer because I think it also spoils the movie.
Oh yeah, it looked like they showed 80% of the movie in 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I rated it not on a personal level, waiting for Netflix, but I can see this as the type of movie that people will watch on Netflix.
I just said, meh. I don't think there's anything interesting in this. I wouldn't watch it on Netflix. I don't entirely know who'd really be looking forward to this.
I agree. I think I was being pretty kind.
I'll read the name on Netflix and think, nah.
Yeah.
Next up is Going in Style.
So, Going in Style It's a Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, Alan Arkin movie where the three old guys, after realizing that their pensions are falling through, decide that they should rob a bank to stay afloat and keep their families happy and themselves healthy and wealthy.
And specifically the bank that kind of screwed them.
Yes, so they say.
And I really love Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine.
Yeah, hard to dislike them, I mean, really.
It kind of reminds me of Bucket List.
I actually very much described it as Bucket List meets Fun with Dick and Jane. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, but I know what you mean. And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, Bucket List / heist movie.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's, I don't know, another old man movie, which I'm kind of getting tired of, to be honest.
I still like cute old man movies.
Well, okay, well, that's good.
Plus, Morgan Freeman can't do young man movies anymore.
No, he definitely can't. But we're the old lady movies. We're the Golden Girls, but cinematic blockbuster style.
I do agree with you there. I think Grace and Frankie's trying to address that unserviced niche.
Yeah, you know what? That's a very good standout example in a field full of others.
Mm-hmm. Did watching the trailer change your opinion at all?
It actually disappointed me a little bit. I was hoping for a little bit more, but to me it looked cute at best.
I was going to say, I think it looks fun and cute.
Yeah, I'm like people 50 plus and you might like it, is my other thought.
I'm old at heart.
That's
I'm
okay.
old / young at heart. I'm part 5-year-old, part 75-year-old.
That sounds kind of accurate.
So, and to prove my point, what I thought was, have you seen the Batman trilogy, the Nolan trilogy?
No.
So in that trilogy, Michael Caine is Alfred, and Morgan Freeman is another one of Bruce Wayne's confidants who like designs all the technology and is the head of his industry.
You know what? I did see part of one of those for the first time like a couple weeks ago, but I ended up falling asleep.
So my thought is this really like a backdoor sequel to the Batman series? The Wayne Foundation went under because of Bane, and now these old guys are poor, and Alfred and Morgan Freeman, I'm just spacing on his character's name. I feel really bad about that. They're getting together and they're robbing the new Wayne Company bank.
Well, you know, I really like where you're going with that and would probably enjoy that a lot as a plot, actually.
Yeah, they've got all the weapons, the skills. My other thought was one of the trailers we looked at had Michael Caine without as much makeup.
Yeah, he looked so old.
Aw, Michael Caine, hold in there.
Yeah, definitely do, boo.
So what's your rating?
Meh.
Okay, I'm actually more guilty pleasure / maybe a popcorn film, blockbuster, I don't know.
I definitely could agree with you on guilty pleasure for more of a population. I don't think it'll make it to popcorn film. I mean, if you consider that like a large audience drawing, no, I don't think so.
That's fair. Again, I think you're right in saying the audience for it has been depleted. That being said, there's lots of old people who want to see a matinee, who don't have much else going on.
Yeah, I think the baby boomers will be the main crowd for this film, which is significant, but not blockbuster proportions.
And I'll watch this on some random show in little pieces on a rainy day.
Oh yeah. Give me 3 months when it's on TV, and Sunday afternoon I'm doing nothing but lazing around the house anyway. Why not? But something I want to track down independently, no.
You're going to leave the room, you're going to come back, and you're going to fold laundry, and then you're going to leave the room and talk on the phone, you're going to come back, and over the next 5 years, you'll slowly piece together the whole movie.
That sounds about right.
Movies have I done that with? I did that with Bucket List, which is what this reminded me of.
Okay.
And have you seen the movie Mad Money?
I have, in fact, and very much in the sequence you just described.
Yeah, I think we might have even done that together at one point.
Oh gosh, who knows? It's possible.
Not the whole movie, but like at least 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, actually, that's the only way I've ever watched the original Star Wars film, is in bits and pieces like that over like a 20-year span.
Yeah, but you've never really watched Star Wars. We're going to go over that one day.
Oh yeah, we'll have to.
Next up, this one's a little political and controversial. I don't know how I feel about it.
Oh, The Case for Christ?
Yep.
Yeah, so this one's based on a real story, 1980, Lee Strobel's.
Is it actually a real story?
I thought it actually said that it was, but now that I'm looking at the notes again, it definitely doesn't say that.
No, it wants you to think it's based on a real story, but I'm a skeptic in this.
Ah, that's funny because so am I.
So yeah, it's about this guy who, his wife becomes very religious, so he goes on a quest to disprove that Christ existed.
Yes, and he's a news editor of the Chicago Tribune. So he's a large guy in a medium-sized pond
Yeah.
here. So he's got power. So if he can prove this, he can print it and have quite an influence.
So my first note is groan.
My first note was that it sounds either like an intense drama or a cheesy faith-based drivel.
I'm pretty sure it is a religious movie about a guy finding Christ.
Yeah, so should we jump to our impression after the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, you first.
So one of my first notes was fiction about someone finding evidence of Jesus that is pretending to be real.
Yeah, so my notes similar-ish, where I said, it looks like it's out to prove in a very cinematic, like, it looks like a well-edited and put-together film.
These movies make billions of dollars.
I totally believe it. And this one looks like it's really good fishing. Like, it's like one of those really good fake emails you get where you have to check or a few layers to be like, is this real? And then you're like, oh, okay. So they're definitely trying to prove that you can't disprove God.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think there are lots of people trying to prove that Jesus exists, and I don't think that they've been entirely successful.
No.
And I don't know, even the idea of going out to disprove Jesus existed seems bizarre to me. I mean, failing to disprove something doesn't prove anything. And moreover, isn't the whole point of religion, having faith that goes beyond, what empirical evidence can provide, believing something more? Anyways, next up is a film called Aftermath.
Okay, so looks like an airplane controller leaves his station for a period of time where he shouldn't have. 2 planes crash, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife and daughter were on one of the planes. They die, and Arnold then goes on a quest to meet the man who inadvertently killed his family and becomes obsessed with doing that.
So I thought it was just going to be like a cheesy action movie. But then I'm like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, hasn't he got a bit of like a beer belly these days? I don't know if I see him as the same like ass-kicking Terminator anymore.
Yeah, to me it sounds like a pass and a bad tale of revenge, like,
See, I was thinking like it might be an over-the-top, fun, rock'em sock'em action film.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't my initial impression, but I could see that.
But yeah, after the trailer, did things change for you?
They really did, as a matter of fact. I thought it looked a lot better than I anticipated. And not too over the top. Like, Arnie is still, kind of tough and gruff, but he looks more like a man who wants vindication than revenge.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I said. I actually liked it less for that reason, because it looked a lot more serious than I was expecting.
Oh, okay, well that's what was allowing me to like the idea of it.
Yeah, it seems like a serious drama film, and he's not like going for revenge, like burning down the guy's house. He's going for revenge in terms of, he's just a guy who lost his daughter and his wife, and people are offering him money, but no one's saying their story. And he just wants someone who expresses genuine remorse for what happened.
Yeah, and it does look like there's a bit of tension in there. Like, maybe Arnie will kill him. Hard to say. But
It's definitely a possibility.
yeah, I like the look of this movie. I'm calling it a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I don't know what story exactly this is based on, because I don't remember 2 planes crashing in my lifetime. I feel like that's a big news story.
Yeah, if anything, it would probably be one plane that actually crashed. Like, based on a true story is often very loosely based on a true story.
Yeah, I could see, because there definitely have been ones where the plane missed the runway or something.
Oh, yeah.
And they're big stories, and they're sad, and I don't want to minimize people's loss. That being said, I see Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I think something cheesy and over the top, and maybe he'll surprise me, and he'll be good in a genuine, emotional way.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a departure from his super tough guy appearance, so I'm curious.
Did you watch the new Celebrity Apprentice at all?
Nope.
I did.
Of course you did.
It's not an of course I did. I haven't watched it in a long time. I think it was how insistent Trump was on bashing the show, where I'm like, Arnold isn't doing such a bad job. I think people just wouldn't watch it because it's kind of a overdone premise, and B, I think people associate the brand so much with Donald Trump, and I think we've all have as much Donald Trump as we can possibly want.
I'd say yes to definitely having enough Trump as we could possibly want. And I also can't believe that show is even still a thing. I don't get it. I didn't really get it at the time when it first came out.
But I did like when he called out Trump. I don't know if you saw that.
I definitely saw that on the internet.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on.
Okay. So next we've got Free Fire, which is an interesting kind of looking movie, which opens with a character named Justine, played by Brie Larson, who is a mysterious American businesswoman who's arranging a black market weapons deal between an IRA buyer and a South African gun runner in a seemingly abandoned warehouse where things start to go south and shots start to be fired.
First thought, Brie Larson's on fire these days.
She definitely is. I don't really get it. I have nothing against her. I just don't know how she suddenly popped into existence and huge popularity.
I mean, she's always been in existence, but I imagine her more as like a TV actor, and she's suddenly just been rocking things.
Yeah, she definitely has, but good for her.
Yeah, I saw after that it's a Scorsese film, which makes me way more optimistic than I was before I noticed that.
Okay, I did not even notice the fact that it was a Scorsese film. Like, my initial thoughts were that it's potentially cool, and, if done well, it could be a good flick.
Mm-hmm. And after the trailer?
I definitely see it being a heavily quoted film in the genre of The Hangover. It looks good. Very good potential in this film.
Yeah, this one looks like the action comedy that I was expecting from the Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I was not expecting a comedy aspect to this at all, and it looks a lot funnier than I anticipated.
Yeah, it's weird though. Is it all in the warehouse? I think it might be.
It definitely looks like it's all in and around the warehouse at the very least.
It's like the Hunger Games of warehouse mobsters.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is a good popcorn flick. I think it'll do pretty well in the theaters, and possibly well critically. I'm not sure about critically.
Yeah, again, I agree. I think it's going to be a blockbuster. And again, knowing it's Scorsese, it could be a really big hit.
Yeah.
Next up's The Circle. And it's pretty much about a woman who gets a job at a tech company, which I assume is Google, but might be Apple. It's called The Circle. Mm-hmm. It stars Emma Watson. And she's encouraged by her boss, Tom Hanks, to take up this new position where she's being spied on. She's volunteering to have all of her personal information become public and for the company to just gather it all up as, I'm guessing, a prototype.
Yeah, like in the initial, my impression from just the synopsis was that it sounded like a Finding Yourself kind of film, more like an Eat, Pray, Love to me.
I actually thought the name was a little obnoxious.
Which I imagine would be a branding thing. Like if you're trying to make a company and you can be known as just The Circle, it really means you have achieved status.
I'm just like, this is a fake worse Google.
Okay.
That being said, Emma Watson and Tom Hanks, I love them both.
Same.
So that makes me think, if it wasn't for them, I'd think this was a very, flop movie that I would never care about.
Uh-huh.
But with them, I actually think this could be a pretty good movie.
Oh, yeah. After seeing the the trailer. It looks very intriguing. It's a social network as a cult. It looks very much like Scientology and Facebook have melded into one.
I thought it was like more of a horror movie than I expected from the description, because it seems like the music at the end was getting really into like queuing up for someone's going to try and kill this girl.
Yeah. Well, kind of. I think it's more of the impending nature of social media in general, very much like an episode of Black Mirror or something. Like this is the potentiality of the world around us.
That's exactly a Black Mirror episode's perfect metaphor for this.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all about, banality as the tool of suppression.
In the end, though, something about the trailer just didn't really appeal to me. It didn't seem like it was enough fun.
Okay.
It seems like it was trying too hard to get a message across.
It definitely is.
So I think it could be really good, but it seems a little too heavy-handed for me. I think I'll probably wait for Netflix.
Really? Well, then we had radically different views, and I rated this one as divine. I think it's going to be a huge critical success and probably a big crowd pleaser.
And with Emma Watson and Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks is one of the like top actors for me.
Absolutely.
I'd put him almost in the category of Meryl Streep, where pretty much anything they're in is amazing.
I very much equate Tom Hanks to the male version of Meryl Streep. I'm looking forward to this.
Okay, next up's Phoenix.
So Phoenix is about a young woman who links the disappearance of her brother and two others to a strange lights witnessed in the night sky in Phoenix in the late 1990s.
So I didn't have so much written here because it's so vague. I'm just like, it's a close encounter, aliens real movie.
Yeah, I literally wrote hard to judge. So my initial impression was I have no clue what's about to happen here.
And did anything change after the trailer?
Oh, it became apparent that it's a Blair Witch Project.
It's a found footage. Is it weird? It also kind of reminded me of the Finding Christ movie. In that they're both creating these fictional stories, trying to pretend that they're real.
That's not that weird. No.
It's kind of like, I'd say the middle ground between the two of these are those like history documentaries about finding aliens and evidence of aliens and pyramids and all that stuff.
I think that's a very fair forecast.
Yeah, I just said meh. I don't think I'll ever watch this or hear about it again.
I'm calling it a guilty pleasure. Definitely not for myself personally, but I can see a crowd that wants to see this film.
That's true. If they do it right, it could be a good movie. It's probably not going to do well in theaters, but it could be one of those cult classics.
Yeah, I can see that. Like Blair Witch Project, I hated it. I don't get it, but people loved it and still love it to this day. I can see other people enjoying
and there's Chronicle, which was a very well done found footage movie, and Cloverfield again was a good found footage movie.
Yeah, so it has potential.
Next up is Alive and Kicking. After getting involved in swing dancing, some people are inspired to look inside themselves and make changes in their lives.
So it sounds like an old people film to me, like something about, we're 50 or 55 plus and we need to make our marriage better, or I don't know.
Okay, have you seen the movie Swing Kids?
No.
It's really good. It's set in during World War II or shortly before that.
Uh-huh.
And it's about a bunch of German youth who associate with swing music, which at the time, it's a very American and particularly a very Black American style of music. So while Hitler's trying to promote all of his like very traditional
Aryan.
German, Aryan music, swing was very outlawed. So these kids go and they meet up at these underground clubs, and it's a form of resistance to from the totalitarian regime around them.
Wow, that sounds really good.
It is really good, and the dancing's really good, and the music's good.
Is that one a documentary?
No, it's not. It's a movie.
It's a feature film. Really?
Feature film. Drama.
Oh, cool.
I liked it. I mean, I haven't seen it in years and years, so I don't know how it's aged.
Uh-huh.
But when I was an angsty tween, I really liked it.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like something I would, at the very least, watch on Netflix.
So this reminded me of that.
Yeah.
But did your impression change after the trailer?
Yes, it's a documentary, which I did not realize.
Me neither.
Yeah, so that completely, radically changes what I thought it was going to be.
Better or worse?
About the same, just in a different way now. Now I'm like, oh, that's nice. It's a passion project.
Did you ever see the movie Young at Heart?
Yeah, with the old people choir.
Yeah, the Old People Choir.
Yeah, no lie, that one made me cry a little bit.
Yeah, so this kind of reminds me a little bit of that.
Yeah, with less old people and more just people who are. It was a little hard pressing how much swing dancing saves people. Mm-hmm. But that's good if people find passions and things that they enjoy, and who isn't amazed at the moves they can all pull off too.
Yeah, and it's a form of exercise, but I think for a lot of people, it's about finding a community.
That's a really good way to put it.
That being said, I think knowing that's a documentary made me probably more likely to watch it, but I still think it's a definite waiting for Netflix, but in the good way. This is the type of movie that, Netflix is good for helping people discover.
I absolutely agree, and I concurred with you on the waiting for Netflix rating. Waiting for Netflix is a broad category on its own.
Yeah, it's 99% of all films, if we were completely honest.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, even good movies, going to theaters is expensive.
Yeah, what's with these movie ticket prices? Man, I can't afford this stuff anymore.
We can just afford to talk about movies on here.
That's right, that's why we watch the trailers.
Cineplex, come and sponsor us.
Please.
So that's it for everything, guys. Thanks for listening. I think we're going to do a follow-up at the end of the month or early June and see how we did. Do you think Jen's more right, or do you think I am?
Obviously I am, but that's all right. We'll see how it goes.
And make your own predictions. I know we didn't hit every single movie coming out, but let's face it, we don't have all day, and neither do you.
Yeah, and hopefully we introduced you to a few you may not have heard of yourself.
All in all, I think it's an exciting month coming up. If you have any recommendations for other videos we should be doing, please leave us a message and subscribe.
Our website is gayzinspace.com, Gayz inspace.com.
And you can reach us also at our individual Twitter accounts. Alex _Myerz. Myerz is Myerz.
And I'm at Jenn Embro, JENNEMBRO.
Thank you for listening, and until next time, we are the Gayz in Space.
I didn't remember what we were going to say.
Let's try this again.
Okay.
We are the Gayz in Space.
On a sexual crusade.